So I'm working down at the river, and I saw this ugly brown bracket fungus growing on a water oak tree. And I've been playing with different types of bracket fungus to try to find something locally that will work as a tinder material. And some of the bracket fungus that I've found and brought home with me to work with would be infested with bracket fungus beetles. And by the time it started to dry out a little bit, you'd essentially have a pile of fine dust. And when I saw this, I almost passed on it because it rained yesterday, it rained last night, and I've not had any real success in finding a local type of bracket fungus that would work, that would take a spark from either a ferro rod or flint and steel. I found some that you could hold a magnifying lens on and get it smoldering, but it would go out. And mind you, this material here is wet. It's damp to the touch after being rained on yesterday and being rained on last night. And even wet, it'll take that spark and so I'm going to let this dry out a few days and see what kind of flint and steel tinder material we've got on our hands. One of the things about woodcraft, bushcraft, survival craft, wildcraft, whatever you want to call it, is that there's always something to learn. There's always something new. And it's kind of like enrolling in school and never knowing you'll never graduate because there's just too much to learn. The curriculum is too vast, is too diversified. There's always something else. There's always something new. And, you know, just like this bracket fungus deal, you know, I've been fooling around with it for a couple of years, maybe 3 years now, trying to find something in our climate zone that would accomplish the same thing as, say, chaga or some of the other fungi that are popular and more well known. And we simply don't have that here. You know, we're on this area is the coastal plain. As the bird flies, I'm only 12, maybe 15 miles from the Gulf of Mexico, and the offerings here in nature are a lot different in some ways. There are a few things that are, you know, similar to farther inland, but this is it's kind of a unique climate zone here on the lower coast. And so, you know, I was working this afternoon and I saw this stuff growing on a tree. It was growing on a wound where a large limb had fallen off head high on me, and I saw it and I said, well, let me just try it. You know, what the heck. And the first run with it, it would take a spark readily from ferro rod, and it would smolder, but it didn't want to stay going. So I was going to wait a few days and let it dry out. And I got to thinking, I really don't want to wait a couple of days. And so I took it and took a piece of it and I put it on a styrofoam plate and I stuck it in the microwave. I don't know if my wife would appreciate that or not, but I just spilled the beans. Anyway, you know, I warmed it up good, dried it out good in the microwave, and brought it back out here, and the tremendous difference that it made. Where damp, it would readily take a spark, but it was difficult for it to stay lit. Uh, it made all the difference in the world when it dried out. Let me show you. The way this crazy phone works, I'm going to just shut this off, and I'm going to turn it back on where it's in that other position. By the way, I'm a technological dinosaur. All this business is new to me. I didn't want a pager when they came out and wore one for a while. Didn't want an iPhone when they came out. But my contract came due and they sold me one for 99 cents. So that's why I've got an iPhone. Bear with me. What we have here is a hot little pile that when I was talking just a minute ago, it cooled off a little bit, but then all I had to do was blow lightly on it, and it got to glowing really, really hot again. And I believe what we've discovered here in our climate zone is a fungus that will serve as a Tinder fungus. And some of that dried and carried in your kit will get a fire going for you. Like the char with a bow drill friction fire, any kind of friction fire, that light char, you have to be careful with it because you can easily blow too hard and blow it to pieces. But there's some fair-sized little chunks in here that are holding fire really, really good. And when the oxygen gets to them, they just go to smoking. I'm happy with that. There's a lot of fire right there. Put that in a tinder bundle. And build your fire. Thanks for watching, folks. And by the way, thanks for subscribing. Doing these little videos and sharing them with folks is it's a lot of fun. And I hope that in sharing them that maybe someone's learning something or maybe getting excited about getting out and playing in the woods. It's a beautiful world in the woods. Thanks for watching.